Hello everyone, Charissa Rubey here with Country Road Less Travel, and I am actually going to be doing a painting video today. I love to paint in acrylic. They're a water-based paint, and this is my beautiful painting station that Dave built for me 2 Christmases ago. So I absolutely love my little painting corner. So painting is a skill I had no idea that I had. About 3 years ago, I had wanted some art for my living room. We had added onto our house, and I was looking in some of the galleries, so I wanted real art. I wanted an actual kind of country painting or print or something, and basically there would be Kincaid's available. You might get some other kind of popular prints, but they were all the same, and everything else was like a TJ Maxx made in China piece of crap print. So I'm a photographer as well. So first I started off with a photograph that I got enlarged on some canvas, and I really liked it. And then I was like, I wonder if I could paint something. So I found an online painting class, and I did it, and I was extremely, here it actually is. Here is the first thing I did, and this is my apple. And I was so excited about it. I was like, oh, I can paint something. So I found an online painting instructor. His name is Tim Gagnon. It's actually Gagnon, but his name is pronounced it looks like it's Gagnon, G-A-G-N-O-N, but it's pronounced Gagnon. And if you want to learn to paint, Tim is amazing. His painting lessons are only like 20 bucks, and they're fabulous. You'll see some of my paintings. I'll use some of his lessons as part of my paintings. They're great. He teaches tons of different kinds of stuff. He has acrylic and oil. This is not a plug for him or anything. I'm just letting you know I really liked him. He taught me a lot. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to paint some clouds. I'm just going to paint a background and paint some clouds. I love painting. I love showing people how to paint. I love painting with other people. It's kind of selfish because it's fun to paint with somebody else. I do go down to the nursing home in Lidgewood sometimes, and I paint down there. I painted a painting and left it there for him, and it was really fun because it was fun to have people walk up behind me and say, oh, what are you doing? So this is a canvas I'm going to be working with right now, and I need my screen to come back. I got to figure it out. Okay, there. So this is the canvas I'm going to be using right now. This is a level 2 wrapped canvas. I get mine at Michael's whenever they're on sale. They have them on sale all the time. This one I like better than the cheap ones with the blue. They're the level 1. The level 2, this canvas stuff on here, the weave is tighter. It's not such big squares, and I like how the paint lays better. And then you'll be able to see on the back here how it's like tucked in here. The other ones are just stapled, and so this stays nicer. And if you ever get a canvas that has ripples on it, just take a spray bottle and spray the back and kind of rub it in, and it'll tighten the canvas back up. This one's really nice. It doesn't have any spots where it needs to be tightened up. All right, here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my paints. I have this. This is the Stay Wet palette. I think it's 14 bucks if you want to go buy it. I love this thing. All it is, it's a little plastic container. I've used Tupperware containers before too. But it has a big sponge in here, and you get the sponge wet, and then this is the paper that goes inside of it. It's a paper that the water really doesn't soak through, and you put your paints on top and it keeps them moist. Because acrylic paint can dry out really fast. Some people will just use a paper plate and they'll put their acrylic paints on it, but it dries out and then you got to remix it. I'm trying to remember how you got that exact color. Not my favorite thing to do. All right, so I'm going to do a blue sky. So the colors that I'm going to use are, let's see, I'll do ultramarine. And so the paints that I use, there's several of them. When you go to buy paint, don't buy the super cheap ones that they have at like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or anything like that. I know it seems like you're going to save money, but they're so goopy and thick, you're going to be sad, and it's going to make you feel like you're a horrible painter. And they're gummy, and they make it not nice. Like the Basic brand, don't buy those. The Winsor & Newton's really nice. The Grumbacher, really nice. They're not that expensive. They're not high priced. If you start getting into the Goldens, they're really expensive. These Academy acrylics are really nice too. Again, it's a Grumbacher, but it's how do you pronounce it? Grumbacher. Yeah, Grumbacher. I just know how it looks. I really like these. So the colors I'm going to use for my sky, I'm going to use ultramarine, and then I'm also going to use what's called Phthalo Blue, and Phthalo Blue is like a really bright blue. So the top of my sky, I'm going to use ultramarine. going to put a little bit of raw umber in there because a sky is never blue and white. It actually always has a little bit of brown in it. And, ooh, that's gross. And then I have my little mixing guy. You can get the plastic ones too. And so I've got my ultramarine. Can you even see this? All right, yes you can. So I got my ultramarine and my raw umber. And I'm just gonna mix those two colors together and it gives me a nice dark blue color. All right, I'm gonna take that and wipe it off. So then I'm gonna come down in my sky. And so I'm gonna put a little more ultramarine. And this is where I'm gonna put, oops, oh, I'm leaking, a little bit of Pthalo Blue. And then I'm gonna put my white. I'm gonna use this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a couple of layers. So put lots of white there, and then I'm gonna put white all by itself over here with just the Pthalo Blue. Just a little bit. And I'm getting it all over me like I always do. And everywhere I'm using white, I'm also gonna use a little bit of brown. And I think this brown is all used up. Do I have another one?
What are you doing?
I'm painting, baby.
What are you talking to?
My camera.
Okay.
All right, raw umber. I'm gonna put a little bit here, and a tiny little bit there. All right, so what you can see is I had raw umber and ultramarine. Here I have ultramarine, Pthalo Blue, white, and raw umber. And I'm gonna mix this up, and so you can see this kind of cool, like almost fluorescent blue. That's that Pthalo Blue. It gives it, see how it's hard to see it, but it's a really nice blue. So you can see I'm getting my lighter sky color. I'm gonna mix that in. All right, and then I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna mix, I don't need all this brown. So I got brown, Pthalo Blue. So you can see this Pthalo Blue ends up this really pretty bright color. I don't need very much. I actually give myself too much. So I'm gonna take this little blob and I'm gonna move him over here. See what color that is? It's just a really pretty blue. And I'm gonna take this brown, move him over here. All right, so now I've got 3 piles of blue. So I have, whoops. I love making a mess with paint. So I got dark, medium, light. And so that's how we're gonna paint our sky. So I have a glass of water. Always put this stuff into water. I have this squirt bottle. I love this squirt bottle. It's got a nice fine mist. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this mist and I'm gonna cover my whole canvas with a light fine mist of paint. And where's my big paintbrush? Am I missing something? Oh, I'm gonna do it. All right. I use a big paintbrush like this to do the background. I get a package of these at Michael's for like $5. So I'm gonna dip this in a little bit of water and get it wet and dip it in my dark blue. And we're just gonna go all the way across. So we're gonna do a couple of layers of this. You do not have to do it all in one layer. It's a dark, dark color, so it's gonna look super streaky. Don't worry about it. I gotta touch my screen. I gotta figure out how much to make it so my screen doesn't go. I got a new camera. This is an Osmo Action. Really like it because it's really easy to run. I just gotta learn all the features. Okay, so I got blue. I'm gonna go to my medium color, and I'm not even washing out my paintbrush. I'm just dipping it right in, and I'm just gonna go to the middle now. And basically, I'm gonna make this whole thing a giant sky for you guys, just so you can see how to make a sky with clouds. I'm just going to kind of run along the center here and blend it just a little bit. We'll come back to that. Now I'm going to my really light color, and I'm going to do that on the bottom. And see, I have a blue stripe in the middle. All right, so I'm seeing here, I would actually like it to be a little lighter on the bottom. So I'm going to get more white. I'm going to put it on the bottom. I'm going to take white and a little bit of brown. Like I said, it's never pure white. I'm just going to mix that in here. So we just have a nice off-white. I've heard people call it apple barrel brown. It's just an off-white for me. And I'm just gonna put a little bit more light on the bottom because I want my horizon on the bottom to be a little lighter. Again, this is the first coat. Does not have to be perfect. Oh, I got a hair from that paintbrush. Come on. Ugh. Come on. I need to get a tweezer over here or something for these stray hairs. All right, come on. Be done with you. So now I have my 3 layers. So I'm actually going to just take a paper towel. And I'm just gonna wipe off the core of this light paint that I have on here. I don't want so much of it. I'm gonna start at the top and I'm just gonna start going back and forth. And I'm just making little X's. And you can see I'm getting some of this light paint on top and I've got some brush strokes. It is fine, it's just the first layer. And then I'm gonna start making X's into this next light color. And so we're just blending this in. Lots of X's. And just a light touch. And the goal is don't get thick marks on there. If you get these really thick marks, they actually make like a part of the paint that'll stick up and then it's really hard to get rid of. So I'm just gonna go back here. I've got some of this light color on here and I'm bringing it up towards the top. That's fine. Channeling Bob Ross. Love Bob Ross. See? Bob Ross paints with me. Here's my bud. Colors I used for this guy. I'm going to make room on my palette here. I'm going to move this up. Okay, scoot all this up. I'm going to scoot this over. There, making room. There, made myself a spot. Alright, so I'm going to do more ultramarine and more of this brown. And I'm actually going to put in more of the brown than I did before for the sky. Because I want it to be really nice and dark. Because it's going to be my shadow, but it's going to be a mirror basically. Oh, I'm making a mess. So pretty. It's going to be a mirror of the sky. So that's usually what a shadow is. It's kind of a mirror of the sky. And you use those same colors. You want to stick within the same color palette. So you see, there's my color that I have right there for my setting. I'll just use this fat paintbrush. I'm just going to steal this paint off of here. And I'm just going to drop that in there just to put my base coat in. So you see, it's actually kind of the same tones as the dark part of the sky. And I'm not going to mark my mountains yet. I'm not going to really make anything else. I'm just coloring it in. So all this is going to be is, maybe we can have if we want to have trees or a shadow of a prairie, something like that. Oh. And I'm hitting the light color and it's blending in, so it's all good. It's all good. There, so I'm not worried about it too much. No, do not worry about it. This is our first coat. Okay. Alright, I had just enough time to go fold a couple of loads of laundry and wonder why once again I forgot to check all the pockets for Kleenexes because I had little fluffy things all over the place in my laundry. Okay, so it's mostly dry. This part's all dry. This part's a little bit damp, but that's alright. White covers better. You can see the dark color blue because it's a white background. All my paintbrushes are still in here. I could have taken them all out and rinsed them up before I left, but I'm lazy. And so this paintbrush is my big flat one. It is totally soaking wet now. So what I'm going to do is just kind of take my hands and just wring it out a little. And that nice. And then dig it down that I just dropped and just kind of get some of the extra liquid out of it. There. Good enough. And I had covered up my paint before I left. So make sure not to use the new paint that we've mixed up for the way bottom. We're just using the pretty sky blue, that dark blue that we've got. And so, look, I'm going to spray it again. Get myself a little wet. All right. All right, so this is the second layer. You can see it's going on much more consistently. And I'm just kind of smoothing it all in. And it's okay if you use all of it up at this point, because this will be the last coat we're doing. And something to remember about paint is there's always more paint. Okay, so I see I've got a lot darker coat on the top now. I'm going to go to my middle color. And we'll go down in here. You can see I've got a lot of the dark blue yet on my paintbrush. That's all right. Remember what I just said. There's always more paint. I'm going to do a little spray again. Alright, so and then I'm going to take my really light blue and go down here at the bottom. And I'm even going to grab some of this white because it's just too dark. I want to make it a nice light color on the bottom. Okay. And you can see I'm not worrying if I get a little bit of light and a little bit of dark. I'm just kind of putting it on here. And so I turn my brush sideways like this, and this kind of mixes it on the canvas. And when I get it wet like this, it helps just mix it all up. So you see I'm ending up with light, medium, and dark on my canvas here. So, and if it's streaky like this, that's okay, that's good. That's where we're gonna get that cloud look from. Okay, light, medium, dark, perfect. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start my X's. I'm actually gonna kind of go sideways on here, and I've got some thick spots of paint that I want to get rid of. I don't like those really thick spots. They look all goopy and they take a long time to dry. All right, so now I'm gonna start making my X's, and I'm blending the medium into the light. There we go. And it's okay if I'm a little streaky because I'm gonna be making clouds on these, so. And then now I'm going to wet this up a little bit, and I'm really going to blend some of my light up into this dark, because it's just too dark. And this will get, whoops, nice sky, a very natural looking sky now. Lots of X's. Don't give up. Just keep going. Lots of X's. We're going to end up with a really nice blended looking sky. X, 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 X. And again, it's alright if it's not perfect. If you drag a little bit of white from down the bottom and you drag it up, that can be where one of your clouds is. Alright. So, okay, I can't see a thing. Alright, got a little water blob down here. I'm going to get rid of him. I'm just going to keep doing X's until it all dries. Helps keep my... Oh, come on. All right, get some nice, like this. I'm going to just press harder. See, as it's drying, you just got to press a little harder. Alright, so I'm dry enough. The top is dry, starts getting a little wet down in here, but I'm going to start my clouds at the top. The paintbrushes that I use for clouds are natural hog hair brushes. So when I use them, they kind of wear down. When they're brand new, they start off looking like this. And then this is the exact same brush, and this one has been loved quite well. Before I'm done with them, they're usually worn down to almost nothing. I probably have a couple in here that are used with hog hair. Like here's a small cloud brush. He's pretty worn down. But I like when they're about halfway between. When they're new, they're a little long for me, but and this one's just about right. I really like this one. So I'm actually going to use this one. So it's a medium-sized brush. I think it's a number 6 round. Really like it. Natural hog hair. That's the way to go. That's the ones I like. So we're actually going to use all the exact same colors that I already have mixed up. So I'm going to get this brush and then get it a little wet. Give me a new paper towel. I'm going to dry it off and make sure it gets wet all the way deep down inside. And we're just going to, so we're going to use this middle color that we used to paint this middle color to do the base coat for the clouds up here. because when you look up in the sky, clouds are actually just a slightly, when the background of them, when they fade into the background, are actually just a lighter color of the other cloud color. So remember, we had our three colors. We had our dark, our medium, and our light. I'm actually going to combine a little bit of the medium color in with the dark, so I'm kind of halfway between. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab a little bit of that medium cloud cover and move it over color, and I'm going to blend it in with this dark blue. I'm just going to actually move it all over here. You know, blend it in. It's going to make me just a little bit darker. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And then if I want to lighten it up, I can pull one of these two colors over into it. So let's see how that one looks. So the trick is we don't need a lot. I'm going to dip and I'm going to kind of go like this. So I just got a little bit of it on there. You can see there's not very much on here. And the clouds on the top are bigger and they get smaller as they get off into the distance. So you can see how it's pretty similar color. And you very lightly touch the canvas and you scrub. And what our goal is we're just kind of trying to make our general shape of our cloud. So they're big at the top. And you want to make them go off the top of the canvas and stuff, because if they don't, if they just stay right within the frame of the canvas, it looks like it doesn't look natural, like clouds will automatically go off into the distance. So I'm just going to kind of make, say I got a cloud here, and then I will do another one like in this area. And you can see in some of these areas it's almost too dark because I got to make sure that it's light enough you can actually see the cloud. And we're just scrubbing in some basic shapes. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. But I like to catch a little bit of this darker color on the back side of my brush because it gives me some kind of cool shadows and stuff. Okay, so I got a big one here, big one here. I'm going to cover this corner here. Yeah, seems like a good idea to me. And the trick is don't try too hard to make sure they're matchy, not matchy. Clouds are just there. And it's not like they're usually have a particular structure or follow a particular pattern. Is that a bug? It's a bug. So, alright, so I've got my big ones. I'm going to go off the top here a little bit. So I've kind of got a couple, three at the top. So now I'm going to come down just a little bit. And I might come back up here later and add more, but and so see what I'm seeing now, I'm looking at, I got 1, 2, 3, it's 2 uniform. So I'm going to drop a little bit in here and kind of mix it up a little bit. And then here. I'm going to add, so we're scrubbing it in. So now I'm getting down here, so I need to pick up some of this lighter color over here because I'm dipping down into this next color. And you make them a little less big down here. The further down we go, the smaller the clouds need to get, and the lighter the color needs to be. Alright, and so we're going way down here. I'm going to get a really light color, see? Dropping down here, and then much smaller. And I don't really need to give them a lot of structure down here. They're more kind of wispy usually as they get more towards the bottom. I'm going to put one up here. Oh, see, I have too much paint here. See this giant blob? I'm going to take it and I'm going to bring some of it up here just to kind of get rid of it. All right. Oops, I would rest my foot on the bottom, move it around. Okay. And so it doesn't look perfect. It doesn't need to look perfect. We're just doing some, again, my clouds. They never turn out the same every time. Happy clouds. And this is just the background of our clouds. It doesn't need to be complex, and anything we put on here right now we can cover up later too. So that's something that you remember as well, is just because we put it on here, there's always more paint. Alright, so I'm getting my lighter colors down here. Alright, so you got some of this going on. Go away. Go away. I don't want you anymore. Okay, so we've got a basic fluffy. I'm going to take my next lightest color over here. I'm going to start defining my clouds. And one of the things you got to think about is, where's my sun coming from? For me, my sun's going to be coming from this side kind of, so I'm pretending my sun is right here. And so there's going to be light coming onto my clouds from that side. So that means you put lighter colors on that side. And so that's what we're going to do. See, I'm actually almost a little too light. I'm going to mix a little bit of this medium color into it. I got light a little too fast. And do this and this. Nice. Now I'm going to bring some of this out here. I don't like how light that got, so I'm going to go back into my darker color, and I'm actually going to darken up the back side of this and even into some of this blue color. And I'm going to press this. When you push this dark color back in, it pushes the cloud back. When you put a bright color, it brings it forward. See, like that. So we're going to do a little bit of this light. And some of it over here. These colors don't have to be really forceful. They can be nice and gentle and just there. Go back into my dark and put some of that back where he belongs. You know, if I put some of this blue in here, it really gives us nice shadows. And then I'm going to come back and get some of the light and put it on top. Okay, so now we're going to move down here a little bit. And I'm going to give us a little bit of brightness on these. A little too bright, a little overexcited. And then I'm going to just show you, do the edge of these just so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to pick up actually a little bit of white and a little bit of this really light blue. And I'm just going to show you how you bring this whole cloud to life. So we had to go check the alarm over at the factory because it was going off over at our business over there. And there were fresh mailman tracks, fresh mail, and the front door apparently wasn't locked, so we're pretty sure we scared the crap out of the mailman. So trying to see if we can find the surveillance footage. It might entertain us for a little while. Okay, so I stood back a little bit while I was standing up, and I noticed I have like a row up here and a row here. So I'm just going to kind of connect some of these to create a little more natural look. And then I'm also going to come down here and just put some texture at the bottom. You don't need, and my brush is really too big for what I'm doing down here. I need to grab my smaller brush. But the clouds towards the horizon don't need to be big. They're usually pretty small because you can't really see them or define. Oh, too light. Okay. Remember what I said, always more paint. So we're just going to kind of scribble a little bit to get this look of clouds towards the bottom here. I'm going to maybe put some little banks of clouds because they tend to kind of look a little flatter when you get towards the bottom like this. Get some smaller clusters. Like peanut clusters, but they're clouds. Yeah. I think I actually want to make the ones at the top even bigger. And include some of these small ones down here. I think that'll give us a little better look. We just change it as we go along. Ooh, got a little bit of brown in there. Makes it a bit of stormy. Picked up some color that I wasn't expecting. That's all right. Kind of gives it a nice tone. I kind of like it. So we just made this whole cloud bigger was what we did. Put some texture back in here. There, I like that better. We got more, bigger cloud. More bigger. More bigger. Ah, there. Oh, it's too wet. See, I'm just mushing it all together at this point. I like this one bigger too. All right, let's go down here. So I think my paintbrush is just too big for what I'm trying to do down here. I need to switch to a... If you got a patch of white or something like that, that's good. Clouds have that. You know, where it's like, and I'm not worried if I have like the dark blue still on the edge of my paintbrush. It creates some cool texture and colors and stuff like that. All this randomness is what clouds are all about. Don't have to feel like it has to be exact or perfect. They can be amazing and beautiful just being random. I just love it. You know, when I first started painting, I had no clue that I would love it so much. You always hear about people who talk about, I always wanted to learn to paint, but I just never took the time. Take a few minutes. Take a few minutes. It's so worth it. I just love it. Love, love, love it. Bob Ross had it right. It's just the best. It really is. Okay, so we're getting some nice texture going on here. Let's bring a little bit down here with my smaller brush. And so my paint is kind of getting a little sticky in here. And I'm going to take my squirt bottle and I'm just going to lightly mist my paint actually to keep it nice and wet. All right, and so this helps me. So I'm just going to kind of go across here and make a few little squiggly lines with my smaller brush, and I'm going to come back in and kind of smooth them out. And these squiggly lines are going to be my, you know, those banks of clouds that are off in the distance. And you just kind of smooth them out then. It gives you that whole look of clouds off in the distance. That's why I love these horsehair brushes. You can just scrub them. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more in this. I think we're good. I think we've got a nice happy cloud set now. Feeling like we're good. So now we have to decide, what are we going to put on the bottom of our... Okay, so I have my basic clouds done. I just dropped in some mountains on the bottom just for some reference. I just sketched them in quick, just so I just like to have it looking like it's kind of finished. These clouds, you guys can do these real easy yourselves. Anything blue puts a shadow in there. The white brings the cloud forward. And I just put a little bit of red on here because I wanted to show you what pink does. Pink will give you some cool texture and really bring your clouds out even more. Who would have thunk? So yeah, that's one of the things, the red really brings a cloud forward and it gives it a lot of bright depth. So colors are important. Yeah, the pink really brings that white out and it makes it pop. Excellent. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and I'll do another one sometime. Maybe I'll do one where I finish up the bottom. The thing is, I may not leave it mountains. I may completely cover it over and have ground with trees or something like that. I just blocked it in so you guys could see what it looked as a whole kind of completed piece. Having the just blank on the bottom makes it kind of boring. So, all right, thanks a lot, guys.